question was, do you think the religion is man-made? I do, but I don't want to be canceled. But you know what? I haven't even arrived. There's nothing to cancel, so it's okay. Yes, it's man-made. It's man-made.
I was labeled as a simple thing of the world. And my friend kind of like low key dropped me and some other girls, the whole friend group.
We're back. We actually made it for another episode. I'm Diola, or Diola, depending on who's asking.
And I'm Rebecca.
And today we have a special guest. We have Stephanie.
Yes, I'm Stephanie. Happy to be here with y'all today.
Thank you so much for being here.
Introduce yourself, Stephanie, to our audience.
I am Steph, one of Adiola's bestest friends in the world. It's been my girl for a minute and newly friends with Rebecca. And yeah, I'm excited to talk about spirituality today.
Okay, so I think today we're essentially talking about like what does spirituality mean to each of us. So Rebecca, do you want to start? Like, what does spirituality mean to you?
Okay, so for
Sorry,
me,
just apologies for the mic, okay? This is still mine, and we're still blaming Rebecca, okay? We're still blaming Rebecca, but it's fine. Eventually, in future episodes, there'll be more than one mic, but it's okay. All right.
So I think personally it just means like staying connected with God without like the performance or organized religion, just your personal relationship with God, essentially. How about you?
I feel like that was a long, deep breath. I think similar. I think it is not allowing religion to taint my relationship with God, actually. Because I know my relationship with him and I know that I believe in God, but my issues are with the structure and my issues are not with God. So I think it's practicing my faith without all of the, I would say, nonsense that the world offers.
Isn't it ironic that you'd say that not letting religion taint your relationship with God when religion is supposed to help you build your relationship with Him?
I said what I said and I meant it.
I bet.
Damn, straight like that.
Oh, yes.
think that religion's man-made.
The question was, and it's with our wonderful producer who's amazing, Karam. We love him so much. And his question was, do you think the religion is man-made? I do, but I don't want to be canceled. But you know what? I haven't even arrived. So you guys, there's nothing to cancel, so it's okay. Yes, it's man-made. It's man-made.
Yeah, so I think I'm gonna answer the first question first about like what I believe spirituality is. I agree with both of you guys about like it being your connection with God rather than having a focus on like a specific paradigm or a set of practices in order to like shape how you connect with God. I think that's where the religious path, the religious part comes into. So yeah, it's more so a focus on like the connection with God and like all things unseen, whether that be spirit or energy or like just a higher power, however you kind of define that for yourself. And it's just focusing on that. And I think there's different pathways in order to connect with that source. And religion is just like one type of path, and there could be many paths. And I think it's highly individual and specific and personal to you. And whatever puts you in that state where you feel completely connected. Some people, religion does that for them, and that's part of their spiritual practice. Other people not. They have their own way that they connect with God and connect to source. So that's what I think spirituality is. Or that's the difference that I think between religion and spirituality.
Mm-hmm. And then is it
man-made?
Religion, yeah, I think it is man-made. It's man-made as a way to connect to God. So yeah.
Okay, I actually really like that because I think like man-made does not necessarily have to be like, oh my gosh, it's bad, right? But I think when I was, doing all of that, I think I automatically was like man-made bad. Mm-hmm. But I think it's I think it's because a lot of times they don't say that it's man-made. I'm not getting to that.
I think religion could get a bad rap, and this is where this is where I sometimes have issue with religion, is because it feels like it can feel forced and like restrictive, like you have to do. I mean, that is part of the ideology. You have to do these specific rituals, these specific practices, in order to be like a good Christian or a good Muslim, in order to like practice that faith. And it kind of like dismisses other ways to practice faith. And I think that if like it was more supportive to be able to have the freedom to choose, or like practice other ways of being, then there's not an issue with religion as like a paradigm. I think it's about how we as humans like practice it and try to like force people to be a certain way.
I wanted to speak on something that Adiola said. Um, yes, it's man made, and so you automatically assume that is, maybe not a good thing or like negative, because anything that is man made is flawed by default. And so that's why it has that, and hence the reason for the inconsistency like across the board. Even just like if we focus on just Christianity, right? There's inconsistency, and they all believe that they're doing what God said, and it's like who is really saying the truth, and sometimes it might just be perspective, but it's preached as this is what God said, And I give this example to my friends all the time, where like, why do we have book clubs? People read books and then they come together and come with their different perspectives. And I feel like the Bible is like that way, especially with the fact that a lot of it is proverbs, and like a lot of people are just like, this is what it means, and it's like, this is what it means, and the next thing we know, we have like how many translations of that one word, and a lot of things are, and of course it's been like chopped and screwed over the years, and things have been taken out of context, and somehow people are still living their lives based off of what is in this book that is not even in its original form anymore. So that's why, again, it has that negative with the restrictive thing as well, because it just like, and this was something that was written like how many years ago, and like times have changed, technology has come. Anyways, I feel like I'm touching on other topics that we're going to talk about. So let me stop, okay?
One thing I did, because I think a problem I've always had, and I've asked this a lot of times, is, okay, let's say there's just like this wonderful, amazing person who just never had the opportunity to give their life to Christ. Are they going to hell? And a lot of times people like they'll say yes. And I'm like, what type of God is that? Like, I don't know. Like, that's not my God. Maybe that's your God. But I don't. But then I think an answer that they say is, no, throughout their lifetime, they would have had the opportunity to give. And I'm like, no, not necessarily. And so all of that, I think, just kind of adds to like the issue with man-made things and they wanting things to be very black and white, and that's kind of my issue with it. But Stephanie, I would love to know more about your journey, and then how you practice, I guess, your spirituality and maybe religion. You see how I did that? I just slipped the title in there.
I love it. Yeah, so it's been a journey, and I feel like my like how what I call define spirituality for myself and how I connect to it evolves and changes over time. And I don't know, I guess I'm okay with like giving myself the space of like finding ways to connect and reconnect, and allowing it to progress as I do, allowing it to change as I grow and change. But you asked me about my journeys, how it is.
And the reason I ask is actually in I don't know, because I think you remember it differently, but I remember there was a time when you were exploring and you got really religious. You were going to church. You were going to the church right next to my house, Riverdale Baptist. Yeah, and then I remember I was like, oh, because you inspired me. I was like, me too, I need to start going to church. What am I doing? My friend is here going to church. Let me start going too. But then I think you transitioned without telling me.
Look how times have changed. The last time I've been to a church is like been over a year or years. But yeah, I think my relationship. I'll start from way back, right? Because religion's always been a part of our lives. So I was raised Catholic. My dad was Catholic and my mom was Catholic, but they were never really consistent with going to church. So I would like sometimes go to church and sometimes not. And it was just kind of like a thing that we did sometimes, maybe. And we, yeah, it was just like something I remember going as a kid and remember it was so boring. Like Catholic sermons, if y'all haven't been somewhere recently, it's the most boring thing ever. At least like Baptist services, they have like singing and like that actually has some like, some energy to it. Some energy, but so it would always be this boring thing that I would just like try to get through. And that was once a week I would have to get through this thing. So that's how that's that was my early relationship with religion. And then my friend got super religion. There was a whole wave. I don't know if y'all went through this. But like in high school and like college years too, I feel like there was like waves of people who became like born again. Um they, sorry, born again.
We'll edit the quotes out. No, it won't. It's fine.
Christians. And so that was like they went this whole thing of recommitting to their faith in like God and like turning away from all the like sinful things of the world.
Including you.
Including I was gonna lead up to that, including me. I was labeled as a sinful thing of the world, and my friend kind of like low key dropped me and some other girls, the whole friend group.
Just
And
looking
so
from the outside, like that was really hurtful for you guys.
yeah, that was my best friend at the time, one of my best friends at the time, and it felt like fucked up. So I had like a bitter taste in my mouth. And then I went with her also to the cult or like church. We're not sure which it is. I mean, we don't know. I went with her there, and oh man, as soon as I walked into the door, they like pounced on me. They just saw like I was like I needed some holy water or something because exactly they needed to save me. So yeah, so I went with the vibes, I was just like, pray for me. I was open to like learning, exploring, whatever. I didn't have like I was open to it. And then I just felt like, I don't know, I just felt off put. Like felt put off after that experience, and it just didn't do it for me. It didn't connect. Some people were like, and it worked for other people, right? Like, and that's why I say like spirituality is getting to the goal of connecting with God without forcing a specific method to do so. So like for other people, they're practicing this faith and they were speaking in tongues. They were completely in this other element of like synergy with their like spiritual side, with their spiritual body. And I was just like, I I couldn't relate. So yeah, so then I like let that go for years. And then it brought me to the time that you're talking about in college, and I'll wrap this up. Long story. This has become a long story. But it was at college that no, it was after college. I had a quarter life crisis, and I was really trying to explore and understand like what is the purpose of life? like high key. I I felt like I graduated college, and then this was like it. Like this was the promise to us. I did all the right things. I, got a scholarship. I got an engineering degree, and then my reward is this shitty job that I hate. Oh wait, this is.
Say that part again. We'll cut it out.
I mean,
you still need your job. Okay?
maybe you need to air
okay,
this.
we'll edit
You
that
have
part
to.
out.
So you have to
edit that.
air this.
She
at a
loves her
specific
job.
date. And I was like, this is not what I was promised. So that's when I started going on a spiritual journey, because I was like, this area has to be more than this. And then I started with Christianity because that was like, the environment that I grew up in. I turned away. I guess I didn't do Catholicism because I've been in Catholic church all my life, but that wasn't it for me. So I explored Christianity and started going to Riverdale Baptist. And that was, I had some spiritual awakenings in that place, in that church, that I'm grateful for. And that's why I say, like, I allow my spiritual practice to grow and evolve as I do, because at that point, it did help me grow and connect with God and get closer and deeper to my spirituality. And then I started exploring other things like Buddhism and just like meditation and just connection with nature and psychedelics, and that also allowed me to like explore different ways to connect. So, yeah.
I wanted to say something. I remember when you were talking about like her best friend at the time, kind of like dropping a lot of them as friends. And I think I told you this about people talking about building their relationship with God, and they're actually horrible to other people and feel like it's not connected. I'm just focused on my relationship with God, and I would be mean or hateful, and they don't think that it's part of the process. But yeah, I feel like I just want you to let them marinate in your heart, because we'll talk about that later if we have time. But
Yeah. I had so many things came up when you were talking, honestly. Do you feel shame? Because I think you were gonna ask that. Like, do you feel shame about not going to church? But then also, I know I'm lost and I'm actually genuinely struggling, because at least when I was going to church, I felt like I had a practice and I had a structure and I had something guiding me in my path towards becoming closer to God. And I think a lot of times I'm afraid that, like, okay, what if the whole me being spiritual is just me being lazy? Like, what if it's just an easy cop out because I don't want to put in the work, or I don't want to, put in the effort. And so then I'm just telling myself that, oh no, this whole religion thing is not for me. Like, how are you guys? I'm struggling. So how are you guys handling all of this?
Yeah, I mean, I think, being raised Catholic, being shamed was like part of the game, right? So I was definitely shameful, like, at first. I felt afraid that like I was making the wrong decision, and like if I continued down this path, then I would go to hell, right? Like that is. And
Are you guys
then
afraid we're going to hell?
I, you know,
Like 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
sorry, did I add that to your list of words?
I'm fine. Nervous breakdown on camera.
I mean, it's definitely something to think about. um, so yeah, that was like a fear and a shame as well, that I'm like, I'm being this with this. What am I even like? What's the name of it? You're just making it up as you go along. So, but I think with time I learned to let that go, because I don't know. I can't really explain how I got there, but it definitely took time. It was not immediate. And I think I realized that nobody, you know, knows. Nobody really knows. So who's to say your thing is more like valid than my thing? According to some people. According to some people. Yeah. Yeah. And then a completely different faith says something else.
So, to answer your question, yeah, I do struggle as well, and my, should I say, spirituality or my relationship with religion has fluctuated like over the years, and there was a time that I just stopped going to church, and so I think that the reason why I'm even making the effort now is because I have come to terms with the fact that God has been misrepresented. So I used to attach like the behavior of people in church to God. And so the moment that I realized that, like, nah, it's just them. That's them. That has nothing to do with God. And so that's why I started putting the effort to actually know Him, like, personally. Now, because I was raised Christian, that's the only way that I know. And if you think about like the whole point of like Christianity is love, things that I agree with. So I'm just like, I'm gonna just stay on this side. So, however, I just want to like work. I want to like kind of get rid of the middleman. But the problem now is,
How do we do it?
yes, and Christianity, you see, you'll go to the Bible. And so that's one thing that I'm struggling with, like consistently reading the Bible. Because I want to understand, like, it got to a point where I was like specifically like reading like the story of Jesus. Because I want to be like, everything I know is what I've heard, right? I want to see, and I've also had conversations with people that have read the Bible like 10 times, 20 times, 50, and they're always like insightful. Like they say certain things, I'm like, oh, like it's in there. Okay, like I need to go, because when pastors are preaching, they are kind of interpreting what they're reading. But it's sorry. They're interpreting what they're reading, but I want to read it and see like how it resonates for me, like what I'm like. I want to receive the message directly, and like, what are they saying here, rather than the pastor telling you this is what God did here, this is what is happening here, and that's just him saying what what he thinks they said. So that's one thing that I struggle with reading the Bible. I have a 5 a.m. alarm or reminder on, even like regular reminder, the Bible app reminder, and I'm still not. I conditioned myself to just dismiss. I know. I was doing good for like a week, and then
I do want to say that like we talk about the Bible because that's just how we've been raised, but the whole point of I think this podcast is that like we think that there's more than one way to God. So we're actually going to be having different guests of different faiths. This is me plugging in the other episode, giving you a little taste so that you come back. So you come back for more. Do we have more to say? Because I don't know. I feel like we've kind of hit the time for it, and we may be coming to a close. Any other questions? Yeah, we have supportive friends. We have supportive friends in our live audience. We're so lucky.
Any questions? No.
He wrote something down.
What does the meaning, or maybe what does the idea, unity is not uniformity? Like, that sounds very broad, but maybe just how do you interpret that? Unity is not uniformity.
Okay, I'm gonna repeat it in case unity is not uniformity. All right. So
Yes.
on actually, what's gonna happen is we're gonna just record the next podcast, and you're gonna be the guest. Are you ready for it? Aye, so that brings us to the end of the podcast. Thank you for joining us. Just as a reminder, again, we're not pastors. Please do not hold anything we say against us. We're just figuring it out like you. I may end up back in the church. Please, but have a good day. Bye. And thank you, Stephanie.
Yeah, I think that was good.
Yeah, that I think was way longer than